UFC Abu Dhabi prelims. First fight of the night was Abdul Hussein taking on Cody Gibson. I think you called this one perfectly when you said that Gibson's going to come out hot. He did. He tried to get the finish. I think he knew that was kind of his only path because he gassed hard.
Yeah, I mean, that was like that fight went exactly how I thought it would. The only thing is, Hussein, I feel like spent so much time in ground control, and Gibson is really good at scrambling. Had great submission defense. I feel like if it stayed on the fight on the feet more, Hussein could have finished him way earlier. It looked like in the second round. I mean, Gibson almost had a submission in the first round. He was playing with that neck in a bunch of different variations, but couldn't get it done. And then second round, like I said, I feel like if it spent more time in the feet, Hussein would have got him out of there. Gibson went back to the stool after the second round and literally told his corner, "I have nothing left." I still had 2.5 minutes to get it done. I'm happy that my counterpart here was able to find his finish, but yeah, I was about 30 seconds late on that one.
Yeah, and that was one where when he said that on the stool, I was like, if he can't get this finish and he just goes out there and wrestles for another 4 minutes like that second round, I was going to be so mad. But he ended up getting the sub a little late, but he ended up getting it. The next fight was the fight where I said I could see it be like the fight of the night or a boring fight, and it turned out to be a very boring fight. Narula Aliv kind of just controlled Mike Davis for the whole fight. Didn't do any damage really at all, but did enough to get the win.
Yeah, I mean, I think, yeah, you called that one perfect. Davis did have a couple submission attempts where you called it. You could see that possibly happening. That would have been cool, but that fight did play out the way I thought it might. Pretty boring. Unfortunately, these Abu Dhabi cards have a lot of these Eastern European wrestlers that are kind of boring, and they have these great records. And yeah, they win a lot of fights, but a lot of them are decisions. That was one of the few that I've tackled correctly so far.
Yeah, these cards are tough. They're boring a lot of times. It's a lot of prospects that are good, but it's tough to read a lot. I don't know. I need to probably rein in my bets on these cards. The next fight, we were both on a finish here for Magomed Tuchalov, and he just had kind of a horrible first round, but kind of got it going the second and third round against Bredesen Ribeiro.
Yeah, I mean, I looked at the stats because this was one that, I picked under a round and a half, especially off of Ribeiro's recent track record. And I think he only landed like 10 significant strikes in the whole first round on Ribeiro. Ribeiro actually had more significant strikes in the first round. So I kind of knew we were cooked at that point. I didn't expect Ribeiro to win, but with a line like that, I certainly wasn't gonna go money line on him winning. So unfortunately, another boring fight in my opinion.
Yeah, I gave him by first round, which was discouraging to see him just literally do everything he could to stay out of range and do nothing the whole first round. It's always great when your guy doesn't even attempt a punch. I was able to jump on him minus 125 after that first round when his
Oh,
corner came in and was like, his corner just came in and was like, "What are you doing? You just gave him that round." And you could see he seemed like nervous and like wide eyed, but did all right in the second. But that was a bit of a boring fight, and I don't know really what you do with a guy like that after he comes in with a fight like that in the Middle East. But he got the win. I guess that's enough. A guy who is struggling to get wins badly now is Ismail Bonfim. He got finished by Axel Sola in what was that, the second round? Or no, that was the first round, the end of the
first
first.
round, the end of the first. Yeah, I mean, I was wrong on that one. I don't know why I had hopes in Von Thiem. I think it's because of what he showed me in the beginning of his UFC run. He was kind of electric, but yeah, I mean, I guess that's the tough part of having a brother in the UFC. Sometimes I let what he does in his credentials and I lay them on you. But yeah, I think we clearly have one brother that's a lot better than the other one here. And Solo looked good. He got him out of there quick. You were right on that one. So hey, hats off to him. That was a good finish. The Frenchman got it.
Yeah, he looked decent. I mean, it's not a super impressive win to me, but both his fights in the UFC have been fun. So it's like, give me a guy like Axel Sola all day that's gonna at least entertain me and have some wars. And put, you need fights like that. You can't just have all grappling matches that are just gonna put people to sleep. So I was happy with that one. The next fight of the night was also one we were both pretty confident in. It wasn't a super tough call to make with Sam Patterson inside the distance, but he looked really good. And Ponzinibbio, I think that's his third straight KO at 39. He might be about time to hang it up for him.
It's actually exactly what I was gonna say. Yeah, I mean, this was one of those fights that, we were both on the same page. And after this fight, we kind of both discussed, uh, utilizing more of like the unit sizes fun on bets, because this was one of the ones that I was more confident in. Um, Patterson looked real good here. Patterson, whatever his name is, looked really good in there. Ponzinibbio, like you said, 39, has had a great career, but I mean, it's time to go off into the sunset, bud. You had a great run, you had a long career, but yeah, you just looked old in there, and I don't want to see you getting knocked out any more than you already have to.
Yeah, I know, and I like Ponzinibbio. I like the way he fights. It's entertaining, but it's tough to see a guy you like that just the end of his career just kind of go sour. But that's kind of the game in MMA. Usually, there's not too many fairy tale retirements in MMA.
Yeah, no, exactly.
And the next one, another guy that looked a little old, Dustin Jacoby against Muhammad Saeed. That we both were on Jacoby. I don't hate the bet. I stand by it. You get a guy like what is that his name? Yeah, Saeed coming in. First fight in the UFC, fighting a guy as good as Jacoby. I like betting on him, but it was clearly the wrong side. He looked good.
Yeah, no, he did look great. I mean, this was one of those tricky ones because Jacoby, I know he's older, and I knew that going in. I'll be honest, I probably would have had more than one unit on him. I was pretty confident, but yeah, he just wasn't throwing anything. He was throwing a leg kick. He was beating up that leg a little bit, but the the explosive strikes were coming from Saeed. He looked super fast. He was throwing some crazy wheel kicks, some pretty strong right hands. And once he smelt blood, geez Louise, I didn't think that he had that kind of an energy boost in him, but he really put Jacoby out of there. But that's what's also tough. When we get the small sample size from some of these like Russian guys, they have these records, but I don't have a lot to build off. But I will be paying attention to him moving forward for sure.
Oh, for sure. He came out with I think, a very impressive performance. Was entertaining. Jacoby wasn't throwing. I swear, I kept on being like, all right, he's loading up that right hand. He's waiting for it, and it never came. He just kind of was sitting there, and I swear the first head kick that Saeed threw, it was so fast, and I was kind of like, fuck, like that's not what you want to see when you bet against a prospect. You want to see him come out a little nervous, like we saw the fight before with or a couple fights before with Tuchelov, who wouldn't even fucking throw in the first round.
Yeah, no,
He threw a head kick in the first 15 seconds, more impressive than anything he threw in the first 5 minutes.
yeah, and on that one, I was surprised too because Jacoby had to have seen, the speed discrepancy, and he talked about before that he was going to try to like make this an MMA fight and maybe throw in a couple takedowns. He didn't even throw one. He didn't even attempt one. So I don't know. I think it was just a bad game plan. I mean, I still like Jacoby, but again, he's one of those guys that we mentioned beforehand, always on the wrong side when he fights.
Yeah, that's. I mean, I said that in our preview. I cannot pick a side with him. I finally am on the side of him getting the finish, and he gets head kicked. And when went back in editing, I was listening to my breakdown, and I was like, I think Jacoby's going to win by knockout. And then I said, if he loses, he's going to get knocked out. And then of course I don't bet the under because I'm a fucking idiot. I just let that analysis go to waste. But one analysis that did not go to waste is this next fight. You absolutely nailed this. This was your pick of the night. You had Walter Walker by first round sub. What was that? Plus 440 or something? Plus
Yeah,
430?
yeah,
Plus
plus
430.
430. Yeah.
And that was I mean, fucking he was on his back and then I swear to God, 2 seconds later he had the submission like locked in. I don't even know. I don't even know how it happened, but it happened.
That was a crazy one, dude. I mean, he goes in there, and all they talked about is how I think it was another Patterson, whatever his name is, been working on, fighting off any type of leg lock, like his entire camp. He's bringing in all these leg lock specialists, and then Walker seems like he wants to strike, but then he pulls guard, and even where he's at, I'm like, I don't love this position. And then he goes for the heel hook, but I see Patterson, kind of slip his leg a little bit, and he's able to, and I'm like, oh shoot, I might be cooked here. But then he's able to switch it to a calf slicer. I mean, this guy, do not dangle a leg around this guy. I did love this pick. I was still shocked because even going into this, even either way you went on it, under a round and a half was still plus 130. So I was shocked by that, seeing what we've seen from Walker. But yeah, I mean, the value on that, no matter how you played it, even if you thought Walker might get knocked out, getting plus money, I just felt super confident. Again, stress the unit sizes. That was the lock. Unfortunately, it gets tied up with all my other garbage, but yeah, felt good about it.
Yeah, and that's one I get. It's a plus 430 is hard to dangle multiple units at, but it's like that was your lock of the night. What going back and editing again, I this was one where I said I was like at some point someone's going to be able to defend this leg lock or heel hook. I thought it might have been Peterson, so I took him inside the distance, but I said I'm not confident in this one at all. And I forgot about this, but your confidence, and I said this at the very end, I was like, your confidence in this pick is going to sway me to at least sprinkle. By the time I went and looked, your plus 430 first round sub was down to plus 300. So I ended up just taking Walker in the first round, plus 250 as a little hedge. Made a little money. I obviously am a loser on my graphic, but your confidence definitely helped me out there. Turned a loser into a winner, which is always a good thing for my bank account, even if my graphics still look shitty.
I love that. Hey, you got to be selfish.
Yeah, and I mean that shows how much you nailed it too. When you see a prop go from plus 430 to plus 300, that's pretty big. That's pretty big movement for a prop.
Yeah, I think that our 10 views on Instagram probably
Moving
swayed
markets
Vegas a little bit, scared
for
him into lowering that price.
for sure. Well, this is actually very good timing. It looks like they're just kind of doing the intro for the main card, so we'll wrap it there, and we'll jump back on after some more wins, hopefully.
Yeah, jump on after a couple fights, but I do recommend a nap for this one. I think you got about a 20-minute siesta before the next fight. I don't expect a lot out of this one.
All right, let's start for the main card opener. You correctly called this one. You said get your nap in during this one. This is going to be the snoozer of the night, and it was definitely that. A few moments of action, but overall, just a boring fight between Abukar Vagaev and Sagid Azagamakmav or something. I mean,
Yeah, whatever that last name you said is, he came on pretty strong in the third round, but Vagayev, I think it was a Chimaev guy, but yeah, I mean, boring fight, not really much to talk about, as expected, I guess. Unfortunately, yeah, just not a fun fight.
yeah, it is a Gakmev had like he'd have like 10-second flurries where he'd look like okay he has a chance, and then he would just like kind of look tired and just couldn't put anything really together to make it exciting.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still kind of shocked that that is what led off our main card, but you're in Abu Dhabi. I guess it's as expected.
Yeah, and we nailed that. But you heard the announcing team talk a little bit about how like they were getting a bunch of texts and how everyone in that part of the world was super excited. But it was like Jesus, that's his
Yeah,
20th. That's his 20th win in his or his 16th decision win. I think is what we came up with the math. He had 15 before this. That's just terrible. As a 33-year-old, I don't even know why the UFC would bring a guy like that in, but they did.
yeah, it's funny you say that because even your boy, what's his name from the second fight of the night, Mike Davis, he had tweeted
Yeah,
after too, being like, I didn't realize that this guy was just gonna. hugged me the entire time. I thought the UFC was trying to get rid of these guys. I mean, it's kind of his own fault for not being able to do what he can do. I mean, your job is to get up, but yeah, just a lot of that in that side of the world, dude. Not fun.
Yeah, and they get the win, but it's it's not what it's not unless you're at that top level. It's not all about just getting the win. It's about you gotta do some damage and put on a show, or else no one gives a fuck.
I agree, 100%.
The next fight was actually pretty entertaining overall. Rizvan Kuniyov looked, actually, I thought looked the best he's looked against Terrell Fortune.
Yeah, I mean, Kuniev looked real good. His gas tank kept up with them. He was applying the pressure the entire time. Was able to get Fortune, who was pretty tough to hang in there that long. Probably should have been stopped a lot earlier, but I don't really know why I thought it was going to be a decision. I didn't expect him to come out with that much power.
No, I mean it was pretty close. Got pretty deep into the fight, but yeah, he those big knees were. It's funny. He was like, I feel like he was like telegraphing them. You could see him coming from a mile away, but it was like those are knees you do not want to be in front of, even if you see him coming.
I couldn't agree more. Yeah, no, thank you.
The next fight was Magomed Zainukov, the John Pork. He looked pretty good against Damian Rizbecki. I don't think I'm pronouncing that right, but that's
No,
what I was sticking
Rizbecki, I
with.
think you're right.
Is it okay?
Um, yeah, I mean, the pork guy, yeah, he looked really good. He was pouring it on. His elbows were absolutely lethal. Yeah, but that's another one we kind of thought might be, finished, but Rizbecki was just tough as nails. I think that was his first loss. Obviously super tough. He couldn't really get anything going, but yeah, those elbows were just devastating.
Yeah, and that's the type of guy you want to see in there. He like clearly he needed the finish in the third round, and he was still getting beat up, but he was still throwing like spinning shit and big shots. He was at least trying. He was getting just his face beat in a little bit. I thought he was going to get finished, but he was tough, and that's what you want to see. I'd much rather watch a guy like that fight than fucking Bogdan Gustav running around the octagon. But
I'll get to that.
one more fight before that one. Yeah, it was Steve Erceg versus Ramazan Turmiov, who damn, that was quite the KO he got.
Yeah, I mean, I was definitely wrong on that one. I thought with a kind of a longer layoff that in Usyk starting as hot as he did in the UFC, I kind of thought he'd get back on the win train, but um, yeah, I mean, 5'4", all 5 foot. He looked like a Mortal Kombat character. He just put him away. I mean, it was a good back and forth. Though it was a fun round. I was happy to see some fireworks going on, but yeah, Usyk just couldn't keep up.
No, and I don't know where Ursay goes from here. He's been at the top of the division, and he's still pretty young, but that's four losses now, and I think like 6 fights or maybe 7 fights. So
Yeah, I mean, I think it's time to take a little bit of a step back in competition because at this point, your confidence is almost the most important thing to critique, and you got to get back in the win train because, like you said, he's young, but he's not going in the right direction.
and his only wins, uh, Ode Osborne, who not a bad fighter, but Ode Osborne's 13-10, so not super impressive. And then he beat Tim Elliott, who's almost 40, so he's he it is two, he's lost 4 of his last 6, and those are his 2 wins. So from where his career once was, it has fallen pretty far. But on the other hand, Tumirov, he's an exciting guy at 125. I'd like to see him fight someone. I'm trying to think who'd be good for him to fight.
Brandon Moreno.
Yeah, I'm kind of sick of watching him fight. I was thinking, what's the Japanese kid that just got in the war
Oh,
with Van?
Tatsara.
Yeah,
Tatsara.
I think
Yeah,
that would be a good matchup. Maybe those
I
two.
agree. That actually that's a great fight.
I'd rather
And
see
I mean,
the
there's not a ton of like stacked competition in that 125 division, so I think that would be a super fun fight. Yeah, I agree.
Am I wrong to say I'm a little bit tired of watching Moreno?
No, I mean he definitely fights a lot, and he's not. what he once was. So it's really not as fun. And he is super durable. But yeah, I mean, I agree. Most of his fights lately haven't exactly been barn burners.
No, but speaking of fights that were not barn burners, the main event tonight. Magomed Ankalaev gets the finish, looked good, but what a snoozer of a fight. Bogdan Gustav, I really disappointing the way he did that. I mean, was barely throwing, was running away, was getting booed in the second round, getting booed in the third round. At one point in the fight, DC was like, "Quit hugging and start fighting." Like, what are you doing? It was just an effort that leaves a lot to be desired, especially someone who bets on that guy. You want to at least have him go out on his sword, like fucking Damian Rizbecki. At least he's trying, you know. That was just sad. I was not happy. I left the night with a sour taste in my mouth.
I mean, I couldn't agree more. I mean, I get you're on short notice, I guess, because you were supposed to fight next week anyway, so it's not really. But short notice on who you're fighting against, I understand. But you're right; he fought scared the whole time. We both expected him to maybe not win, but to kind of go out on his shield and like start with at least throw a lot of volume in the first round and at least scare Ankalaev into having to shoot, but. He just ran away the entire time, and eventually Ankalaev was able to get a hold of him, kind of wear him down, and yeah, he got the finish. So like, I was happy to I guess see that, but I mean, for a main event, that was not a fun fight.
No, yeah, and you called it that you thought Ankalaev would get the finish inside the distance. He did, but most of the fight you just didn't even think it was going to happen because when someone's not engaging, it's tough. You know, he was winning every round very easily. He threatened some subs in that fourth round, but 90 seconds into the fight, I was sitting here watching with Megan. Megan just likes to know what side I'm betting on, and I look at her. I go, we have no shot. Like his whole goal is to just survive. He wants to get to decision and say, I went 5 rounds with Ankalaev. That was his goal. It looked like, and he couldn't even do that. Not
No,
that
and
it,
I mean, we're just talking about a guy that like has looked mean in there and had power in there, and even if you're gonna lose like you wanted to be there. He looked like he literally did not want to be there.
Not at all. No interest in like banging. No, he had one path to victory. He had no chance of just like outpointing him and being unaggressive and not. I mean, he wasn't throwing anything, so you can't win when you don't throw anything. But he had to find a KO, and he didn't throw any big shots. He threw one head kick that gave a little excitement. Besides that, it was so bad, and I feel like he had a lot of momentum, and I feel like that fight probably set him back a long way.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that, but on the other hand, like, how much of a win is that for Ankalaev? Like, you did win inside the distance. You finished the other guy. I mean, I give you credit for that, but does that put him right into the title picture again?
I think it does just because there's no one really else, and even though it was a boring fight, I he was trying to engage. He was going like it was truly like just Gustav just circling and trying everything he could to not engage at all. So Ankalaev isn't usually in the most exciting fights anyway. So I feel like he kind of has a little bit of that the rap of having boring fights, but I don't really put tonight on him.
No, I agree. I was actually going to say the same thing. I mean, can't blame a guy if you don't actually have a opponent that's willing to engage, right? So can't fault him for that. I don't think that fight does as much to like make it really all that exciting to see him, um, get another shot at the belt. But you're right. I mean that division. Who else is going to fight Oldberg if not him?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, 205 really is. It's crazy. I think Kamzat is right there, like immediately. Maybe give him one win at 205, and then I think he could win the belt there easily. His wrestling might be challenged a little more, but his wrestling at 205, he might be a whole nother animal too.
I agree. If he doesn't have to worry about the weight, him jumping right up there, be interesting. I don't know if there's any relationship between him and Ankalaev, though. I know they're both like, Russian, Chechnyan guys, whatever. So I'd be interested to see a matchup like that with two guys that kind of have very similar styles. But I mean, yeah, I guess I'd watch that.
Yeah, another guy I'm interested to see where you think the UFC should go is what did they do with Walter Walker? And a pretty weak division overall, at least not a deep division.
I agree. I mean, I was looking at that and looking at, potential matchups for him. I think an interesting one might be Curtis Blades. Someone that's kind of the only problem I have with that is Blades is kind of on a losing streak. Obviously, Walker's on the other end of that, but where they meet in terms of like rankings are right outside. Like Curtis is like 9 or 10 right now. But I think that'd be interesting. Or throw him in there with like Volkov or something like. Honestly, give him someone that has some like type of submission background themselves, and just see what happens. I mean, I think I'm hoping to find it when he eventually finds an opponent that I think will stop it and probably take advantage of that and probably knock him out. But for now, yeah, I mean, I'm very interested to see who he fights next. Or if he goes down to 205.
Oh shit, I
He's
didn't.
not that big.
Really? He's 6'6". I'd be shocked if he went down to 205. What does he weigh though?
I want to say he's only like a 235, 240 guy. I
No
mean,
way.
that might be unrealistic, but um yeah, because I know his brother Johnny Walker, they're like both real tall, but yeah, Walter does look a little bit bigger. Probably
Yeah,
stay at heavyweight.
they have him at
Um
248 listed, 6'6", 248. So that would be, I mean, not undoable, but if he's getting first round finishes at heavyweight, I don't know what inset. That's 5 first round finishes. Sorry, in a
5 in a
row.
row, yeah.
I thought that was his fourth. Damn. Yeah.
Yeah, I might be speaking out of my ass on that one, honestly. I don't think he's gonna go down that far. I don't know why I thought he was more on the brink, like a Hokit or something. But
I, I like the
yeah.
guys you mentioned. I like the guys you mentioned though. If he can do that to a Curtis Blades and just fucking sub him out in the first round, that'll be crazy. We've never seen someone just. I think he is this a record 5 straight first round submissions. I feel like I saw something about that.
At heavyweight, I want to say it definitely is. I mean, it's been a lot of years since we've had like a crazy submission artist, especially at the heavyweight division. So, yeah, and I mean, especially 5 submissions, all leg related, all some type of leg lock, right? Like, I don't know. I mean, I think that finding the solution to this problem is a lot harder for these fighters, but I think that once he gets into the rankings and starts fighting some of these more polished, well-rounded guys, I don't know how far that's going to take him being a one-trick pony.
Yeah, I agree, but that was my analysis for this fight. You were on the right side saying that Peterson was not the guy to stop him, but at some point, there's just not that many leg locks, and it's you. Someone's got to be able to stop this.
I mean, I agree, but at the same time, like I said, all they were talking about is that Peterson, his whole camp was work with leg lock specialists and how to defend it, and he didn't last very long doing that. And even, he was like, "Oh, I'm safe from one submission, and then I'm slipping into a calf slicer." Like, honestly, have you even seen a calf slicer in the UFC? Like, that's such a rare submission.
Yeah, it was crazy, and I didn't know what was going on. I thought because it looked like for a second he was getting his leg out, and then you you know I don't understand the grappling well enough, especially the leg locks and shit, to know what was happening. And then he just looked so disappointed in himself, and he just put his head down and tapped. It was like, oh damn, that happened quickly.
Yeah, I mean, like anything leg related, I mean, it's hard if you're the one defending it not to kind of panic and be like, I got to get out of this. But yeah, it's one of those submissions where I don't know, you just feel like your leg's going to literally snap in half. So I don't, I can't blame the guy for tapping, but obviously he knew that was the game plan of Walker going in there. So I think that's more the thing. Like, damn it, I fell on the one sword I had to avoid.
Yeah, he definitely did not avoid that, but Overall, got some finishes. I'd say not a great card, but we're next week. It's at Serbia, Belgrade, Serbia. So that'll probably be a pretty wild crowd. It's not the
Who's the
greatest
headliner?
card. It is Medic versus Daniel Rodriguez. Who Daniel Rodriguez is, I think, about 3 months out of Tijuana prison, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, no, I think you're right, but hey, that might make him mean. I don't know. I like D Rod a lot. I mean, he's a wild character, but he's like buddies with Cerrone and all those guys. I like D Rod. It's an interesting main event, but I don't know. He usually doesn't really have too many boring fights.
Yeah, and the co-main is lost Gustav, which got way more exciting, I'm sure. But it's Jan Blachowicz versus Navajo Sterling, who we saw fight not too long ago, got a knockout. But we both of us after that fight kind of said that for some reason we didn't love the way Sterling looked that fight. He kind of looked like a little slow or a little like he was kind of just like something wasn't there. So this might be a spot where, depending on the odds, I go on Jan. Just on my first instinct. That's what I'm thinking.
I mean, I'm right there with you. I feel the same way. I mean, Jan's definitely getting older, but yeah, I remember Sterling started that last fight super lethargic, right? It took him a while to kind of like find his place, and Jan's someone you really can't do that with. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, I don't know. I might be leaning the other way on that one as well.
Well, Jesus Christ, you said he's getting old. I didn't realize he's 43. He's Navajo Sterling's 28. He's 15 years older than Navajo Sterling. That's fucking
I
crazy.
know life comes at you quick, but I don't know. Jan, like in that type of division, the heavyweight division, like that's the one where we see like the oldest fighters have success. So I agree, he is older. I'm going to take that into account, but at the same time, until you show me you're old, I'll ride with you. Like Andrei Arlovsky lasted forever. So yeah, I mean, until you show me you can't hack it anymore.
I think I saw that Orlovsky got a submission win last weekend over someone.
Yeah, well, you know what? I'm sure that was a great promotion and a really fun fight.
Yeah, it was like his 85th professional fight.
Oh, I remember him, tapping out like Tim Sylvia when I was 15. So yeah, yikes.
All right, thanks for jumping on. We'll jump on this week and break down this Serbia card.